The ocean around the triangle is never still even on calm days. When the sun blazes overhead, the water feels wrong, waves roll in strange patterns, and the air tastes of metal, as if the sea itself is breathing in and out. Deep in its core, sailors talk of nights when the moon turns blood red, and the stars vanish, leaving only a vast black void above them, as if the triangle has swallowed the sky itself. Then come the sounds, faint at first like distant bells underwater, growing louder until they echo in the skull, a metallic chime that has no source. Some believe it is a call luring ships into the heart of the triangle, the same call that has been heard for hundreds of years, long before it had a name. Ancient maps mark the region with symbols of dragons and spirals, warnings that this sea is cursed and should never be crossed. There are accounts from early explorers who claimed to see lights moving beneath their ships, as if entire cities glowed on the ocean floor, streets of gold and silver stretching into the darkness before the lights winked out, leaving only the cold black water. One ship's log, recovered centuries later, tells of crewmen who went mad one by one after staring too long into the water, muttering in languages they did not know until they threw themselves overboard without a sound. Some survivors of the triangle describe losing all sense of direction, not just in space, but in time, the sun rising twice in one day, shadows moving the wrong way, their watches spinning backward, as if reality had torn and they were drifting through its broken edges. Others speak of being pursued by shadows beneath the wave, shapes that match their vessel's speed perfectly, never surfacing, never falling behind until the sea swallows everything whole. Even the clouds seem unnatural in the triangle, twisting into spirals that reach down like claws, storms that roar without wind, rain that falls in patterns like coded messages, impossible to read, but impossible to ignore. The deeper you go, the more the air feels heavy, pressing against your chest until every breath is a fight. Instruments fail, compasses die, radios turn to static, yet through the static, sometimes voices emerge, calling names in tones too familiar to ignore. Sometimes the voices belong to the dead, pulling the living toward them. The triangle has no mercy, and no pattern it chooses at will, taking the strong, the weak, the prepared, and the lost alike. The sea closes over them, erasing all trace, as if they had never been there at all. And the next morning the horizon is smooth and calm, hiding its hunger for the next soul that dares to cross its invisible border. But some say the triangle is alive, that it thinks that it chooses who will vanish and who will be allowed to leave. As a warning to others, they tell of a freighter that entered its waters under a bright morning sky, the crew confident and laughing, the radar clear, the sea calm. By midday, a wall of black clouds appeared out of nowhere, stretching from horizon to horizon, blocking the sun and swallowing the light. The ship's engines slowed, the compass spun, and the air thickened until movement felt like pushing through water. Strange lights began to dance across the waves, pale blue, white, and green, flickering in patterns, as if speaking in a language no one could understand. Then came the sound, low and endless, like the hum of a giant machine buried deep beneath the ocean floor. The crew gathered on deck, staring at the water where shadows moved far below, some huge, some thin, and twisting shapes that did not match anything known to man. One by one the shadows rose closer, the water bulging upward as though something was pressing from beneath the surface. The ship shuddered, the sky roared, and without warning the sea split open into a dark spiral, dragging the vessel down. The captain screamed orders, but the sound was torn away by the wind. Survivors say the last thing they saw was a great black shape, far larger than their ship, gliding beneath them before everything went silent. When the storm cleared days later, the ocean was smooth, the ship was gone, no debris, no oil, no trace, and the coordinates of its last location no longer existed on any map. Those who hear the story dismiss it as legend, but the locals say the sea sometimes remembers and returns what it has taken. Months or years later, a vessel will drift into harbor, its paint faded, its deck covered in salt, its radio silent, and no crew aboard, only wet footprints that lead to the rail and stop suddenly, as if their owners had stepped off into thin air. And the whisper, carried on the wind, says the triangle does not claim victims, it keeps them, and somewhere far below in the darkness they are still calling for help, waiting for the next ship to join them forever in the heart of the ocean's forbidden zone.